You are watching TFI.
Greetings, salutations! Super echoey boy back again with another video. I do apologise, I have peppered the room in acoustic foam panels, but it's done jack diddly squat. It's going to need more than that to fix this. I do apologise, but I need to get the video done. The subject matter is super relevant, kind of super time sensitive as well, so I just need to get this done, mate. I've been meaning to cover this topic for quite a while, but given the current state of affairs, it kind of fits in nicely, and if I can even use the word nicely at a time like this, but you know what I mean. It's something that a lot of people might need or want to think about. So I'm just going to get it done. It's all to do with working from home, options that you've got, or alternatives to think about. The current state of affairs in the world is that obviously as it's been explained or defined by other people, the human malware situation is causing the world to go to absolute hell. And a lot of businesses, if they're not unfortunately closing down, they're having to give serious thought to sending people home to work from home. And the logistics of working from home differs from company to company. I can't tell you or your IT or whoever you are what the best way to work from home is or how to do it. It's entirely dependent on a lot of factors. Things like how many people you've got working for you and how much time you've got to set this up. You might be sent home tomorrow morning or this afternoon. So you'll know what options are best for you. All I can really do is just give you the whole point of this video is just an alternative, really. It's just something to think about. You might watch this and go, I haven't got time to set that up, and that's fine. To be honest, I haven't got time to set this up, but this would have been a good alternative for us. I'm looking at this for a future similar scenario and other use cases as well. So I thought it's actually really useful for a video idea and for other use cases, I guess. And other people might still have time to put this in place depending on how many staff they've got. Quickly talk about the working from home options that people have very quickly. So depending on who you are, how many staff you have and how much time you've got, the normal working from home protocol would be set them up with a VPN and then either just leave them at that. That might be okay depending on what job they've got. Or set them up at home with a laptop and a desktop and a VPN, and then ask them to remote desktop into the physical workstation that they would have otherwise been sat at in the office. So that's okay. The option or the alternative which is available to you, which is quite actually really quick to set up, is cloud computing. And the one that I want to talk about is Frame. By the way, this video is not sponsored in any way by Frame. I'm not on commission by Frame. I don't work for Frame. But they've given me this as a test environment, and I'm testing this for my production environment with a view to putting it in later on as a fully paid up customer, by the way. But this is not anything it's not a freebie or anything. I'm using this session for free, but it's a test session. So what is Frame? Well, Frame themselves don't actually own any sort of physical servers that host workstations. That's all done by Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google. Frame are like a wrapper that wraps up Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. Because you can actually go to Microsoft Azure, for example. You can create your own Microsoft Azure subscription and create a virtual workstation with Azure. You can do that right now, no problem, without Frame. But what you'll find quite quickly is you'll be missing a lot of tools that you'll quickly realize you need when it comes to managing that workstation. Like, how do you then clone that workstation out to 5 or 10 other people? How do you then share service packs across that workstation? There's all kinds of toolkits that you'll wish you had that Frame then offers you. That's what Frame's all about. It's taking the back-end server architecture that Microsoft, Amazon, and Google offer, but then realizing what the end client actually wants, packaging that up into this desktop interface, and then saying, hey, we know what you want. Microsoft have got the back end, we've got the front end. There you go. So that's kind of what Frame is. So Frame lets you create the workstations. It then makes them on the Microsoft, Amazon, and Google hardware, but you manage them all through the Frame front end. So I'm not going to give it, it's not a training course, I'm not an expert on this, I'm actually learning this as I go myself, but like I said, with a view to setting it up in production later on. But in a nutshell, the way Frame works is, and I'm not going to be able to explain everything that it does, but you create a sandbox desktop environment. So I'll start that up. This sandbox desktop environment is like a master template that all of your users will eventually log into. It's a Windows PC inside Google Chrome or Edge or Internet Explorer or Firefox. And at the moment, it's just a blank terminal. It's just a nothing Windows desktop. But it's a template. Nobody logs into this yet other than you, the administrator. And then what you do is you start loading or installing all of the applications that you will want your users to work on at home. So for us in the 3D CAD world, I'll have to now go into Google or Edge or whatever and start downloading AutoCAD, Inventor, Vault, Cisco VPN, Office 365, all of the applications that my company needs. I'll have to start downloading them, install them onto this sandbox, and then when the sandbox is finished, when I've got this into a state where I'm happy the users can start working on it, I then publish it, and then the users are able to then log onto it and start working on this from home through their internet browsers. So I'm going to start doing that. Obviously, I don't want to sit here and start installing applications whilst you're watching it because that'll take ages. So I'm just going to quickly install a couple of applications and then we'll pick this up after I've done that. Alright mate, that's pretty much the sandbox configured. I've got a bare basic minimum of applications installed. It is just a test environment, but I've put AutoCAD on, I've put Inventor on, I've put the Office applications on. I then put on the likes of the VPN client that the users would connect into our company environment with. And you can also install or upload files from your local PC into this cloud terminal. So this button at the bottom here, which is upload files, that creates like a tunnel from the cloud session into your local PC. So it's opening up my physical desktop here, and then I can upload like a couple of PDFs and then drop them up onto this cloud terminal. So if we go into the uploads folder inside the Frame session, those PDFs are now there. So when I publish this, when I invite users to start logging into this, those PDFs will be available for those users to see. And then you can do that with CAD files, you can do that with pretty much anything you want. You can upload the files in bulk for anyone to get at. You can pre-populate folders on the C drive, you can do whatever you want. Right then, so I think that's about it for setting up the sandbox. What I'm going to do is turn this off and close the session, and that takes us back into the Frame user interface, and then I'm ready to start inviting users to, well, I need to first publish the sandbox, so I think I'll do that now. We'll hit that. Publishing taking up at 15 minutes. So we'll set that going, and then once that's finished, I'll pick this back up. But in the meantime, I'll just show you a couple of settings that you can configure as an admin. So if you go into the session area, there's a couple of things you can configure, like you can allow or deny users the ability to plug in / connect their Dropbox accounts or Google Drive accounts into their Frame terminal. So if they've got like a big file dump inside of Dropbox that they want to connect into their Frame terminals, instead of having it on their local whatever laptop it is they're using, then they can connect the Dropbox in here. Because don't forget, the whole point of this VDI is, for example, sending someone home to work from home. They might have a really bad 15-year-old HP or a horrible compact laptop that's awful. They open up Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, and within that browser, they've got 6 Xeon cores, a Tesla GPU, and 32 gigabytes of RAM within a Google Chrome browser. That's the whole point of this. And then they've got their Dropbox, they've got their Google Drive, and they've got everything they need within that browser on an awful laptop. Time limits, you can set the activity levels here. So bear in mind, I don't know what the costs are. It's going to change based on what hardware limits you go for, how many cores, how many GPUs, the level of GPU, how much RAM you put in, whether you go for Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure. Costs will change. Obviously, have a look at the Frame website. Costs will probably change based on what region you're in. for redundancy, working from home, maybe spin up a single workstation is a redundant resource in case something goes wrong. You've got this cloud resource to access in the case your physical hardware goes down. Even just having that available is something that's worth thinking about. But you can set the time limits here, so max session duration 2 hours. If you only want users accessing a session for 2 hours before it kicks them out, you can do that. You can increase it or decrease it. And then there's a whole bunch of other settings here, which obviously I'm not going to go through. It's not a training course. But you've got activity levels. You can monitor who's been on the sessions, how long they've been on for. You've got analytics, capacity, all kinds of stuff here. I'm going to invite a user. So I'm going to come on over into here and then invite my user account, which I'm not going to show you because it'll show my email address, but I'm just going to quickly do that now. Right, mate, that's the users created, and that's as simple as just typing in the email address of the person you want to invite, or the employee who you want to invite into the frame session, and then you assign them to a desktop. And as the admin, you can create different desktops per department, so you could have an accounts desktop, and it's dead easy to set up. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. In the frame UI that was in before, you create a desktop, call it accounts, and then you install the accounts applications to that desktop. Create another desktop, call it CAD, and then you install the CAD applications and assign them to that desktop. And then you just create a user and then assign them to that desktop. So when the user logs in, they see the desktop and the applications that you've assigned to them. It's dead easy. Anyway, I've invited 2 users, so I'm going to log in 2 different browsers so I can see 2 sessions concurrently. So I'm in Chrome here, so I'm going to log in, and then I'm going to hop on over to Microsoft Edge, the new Edge, which is brilliant. It really is. So in here we're with Ada Lovelace, and then we're going to hop on over to her desktop, and then we're going to jump on over to Engelbert Humperdinck's desktop. Log in as Engelbert. And then they should be given their own desktops, which are copies of the sandbox, but they're now separate, complete workstations. Although they're copies of the sandbox, they're now independent workstations that Ada and Engelbert can now work on and do whatever they want on, completely isolated from each other. And because this is a non-persistent frame account, they can do whatever they want, and whenever they shut it down and start it up again, it'll keep all their settings and all their files, and it's like it's their own personal workstation in the cloud, really. So this is Engelbert's. Like I said, I can grab these icons and move them over here. If I hop on over to Ada, you can see hers is just completely unaffected. And yeah, it's brilliant, man. Absolutely brilliant. What about performance, though? What about performance? Right, well, let's hop on over to Edge. I've never tried this in Edge. This is a bit risky, but we'll hop on over to Autodesk Inventor and fire that up and see what 3D CAD's like in the cloud. In terms of specs, obviously with cloud computing, you are trading off performance for contingency and reliability. When I say reliability, I mean in terms of physical hardware, the reliability potential issues that you get with that. You're always going to have a slower experience with cloud computing. That goes without saying. So in this cloud workstation, you can get better specs, but with this one, we've got an Intel Xeon Platinum 8259 running at 2.5 gigahertz, which really isn't great for 3D CAD. I would never have picked that for a 3D CAD cloud CPU, but you can get more appropriate Xeons in the frame environment for 3D CAD. This is just, it's just a test environment. It wasn't, I didn't ask for this. It was just, there you go, do something with that. You're welcome. And I was like, sure, no problem. Not testing performance here, but yeah, there are better specs that you can go for. Installed memory, 16 gig of RAM, and in terms of GPU, I think we do have a Tesla in here. We've got a NVIDIA Tesla T4. So, but it's more latency and lag that we'll want to test to make sure that it's better than remote desktop, and it's not going to be a laggy, horrible, messy experience when you're doing your sketching and when you're zooming and orbiting around. So the licensing, licensing is something that you would probably not set on the sandbox. So you wouldn't install any license keys or activate any users on the sandbox. You would do that once the user is logged into their workstation or logged into their terminal, and then do it after that. But so you can see that if you look at the cursor, you can see there is a tiny bit of lag to the right and left of the cursor, but it's not. It's fine. to be honest. Like, that's very, very usable. That's fine. I'm happy with that. It's absolutely better than remote desktop. Panning around is fine. Orbiting is absolutely fine. I mean, it's a small part, but graphical lag is graphical lag. Whether it's a single part or whether that's a large assembly, it's still sending 3D. It's still sending video data over the webs. So that's fine. I'm absolutely fine with that. Let's check AutoCAD, because there'll be some people who will want to see how AutoCAD performs. But we'll jump into AutoCAD, see what it's got. Actually, AutoCAD's... That's actually better than Inventor, actually. You can see the cursor's fairly well attached to the geometry as you're moving left and right. That is really quite usable. Trim. That's very usable. For a cloud compute solution, that's very usable. Absolutely, I'd say 100% better than remote desktop. Easy. So this is Neil in post-recording. I just thought I'd fire up another Inventor session. I didn't feel like I gave enough of a beating to Inventor in the frame session, so I thought I'll load up something a little bit more data rich, which is the jet engine assembly. 860 occurrences, 90 physical parts. Not the biggest assembly you'll ever see, but it is just a 16 gig of RAM virtual workstation. So for anything bigger than this, you'd need a more beefy VM. So, but that's really impressive. The performance I'm getting from this, there's no. It doesn't feel exactly like a physical workstation, but it certainly feels a lot better than remote desktop. You know, if you were working on this day in and day out, you wouldn't feel uncomfortable for sure. So that feels pretty good. Turning on all the visual styles, it's handling it like an absolute champ. So you can turn on all the shadows and it'll handle all those. We can even turn on ray tracing as well, and it'll bash out a ray trace like an absolute champ. So yeah, you can see it handles everything perfectly, and like I said before, you can do all this within the confines of a pretty cheap, poor spec laptop, but you've got the power of a pretty high spec workstation behind your browser to do it all in. So another thing I didn't mention as well was the ability to print. So what you can do is map your local printers into the frame terminal, and you don't even need to do anything. All you do is it does it automatically, which I found out later on. When you print, there's a automatic frame print driver set up. So when you print something, it sends what you're looking at to a printer called Frame, and then it flashes up a box, which then maps it to your local printers. So then I can send this to my local HP printer, or if you've got networked plotters or any plotter that's connected to your local machine or your network, they'd be listed here. So that's all. It's just all done. It's just so easy and seamless. So yeah, I thought I'd add that in at the end because it's something I felt like I should probably have mentioned. So that's AutoCAD and Inventor. Far from an extensive test, but you get the picture. I've got the Office applications here installed as well. So I've got the likes of Excel, Word, Outlook, all installed. This is where you plug your license in, but you can see that was Excel in the background. You've got Word. If Windows Search will work, that would be nice, mate. That would be nice if Windows Search would work, if it's not too much to ask. There we go. There you go, there's Microsoft Word. I'm not going to bother plugging a license in because this whole environment's going to be deleted the moment the video finishes. So yeah, that's it. Another thing to bear in mind, I can't remember if I mentioned this at the start of the video, but this is a Windows Server operating system because this is based on Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Services do not support Windows, or well, Microsoft don't let Amazon use Windows 10. So although Autodesk applications and a lot of other applications aren't actually supported on a Windows Server operating system, as you've just seen, they install and they work just fine, but they're not supported. So that's something just to be aware of. But now Engelbert and Ada are now free to work away. They can now disconnect, shut this down, go wherever they want to be. They could be on a bus, they could be on a train, they could be wherever. Well, they can't be because human malware is kicking about. But they could be wherever they want to be. tethered to their phone, fire up Frame, and then they've got this workstation wherever they are in the world through an internet browser. Fire up the desktop and it'll just pick it straight back up wherever they left off. What else was I going to do? Oh, that's what I was going to show you, the cloud storage. So yeah, when you've disconnected the session, you've got to use a profile up here where you can go into your storage providers, and this is where you can connect in your Dropbox or your OneDrive or whatever it is. That's where you can hook in your own personalized cloud storage solutions. I love this. I really love this. And that sandbox and those 2 sessions were set up within about an hour. So it's doable to get this up and running prior to sending people home if it's something you want to pursue. It just depends how big your organization is and how much you want to test it prior to sending people home. But an absolute workable solution. If it's not, it's certainly something that I'm going to be testing in the long run as a possible potential replacement for physical desktops in the future, given how good the contingency is with these things, the ability to just roll these back to previous backups, and the ability to manage them en masse with a push of a button, to update applications en masse. It's something that's just becoming more and more valuable as time goes on. So that's Frame, frame.notanics.com. Put a link in the description. I'm not in commission, it's not sponsored, I get nothing from this. It's just a recommendation and something that I'm seriously looking at myself. So if you found this useful, do give it a thumbs up and all that. I'm hesitant to answer questions on this, mate, because I'm still learning myself. The chances are the guy who's set me up with this will see the video. He will see the video, and he'll probably be shooting around in the comments. So if you've got any questions, put them in the comments, and there's a good chance the guys from Frame will probably reach out and answer questions in the comments. I'm saying they probably will. I'm not telling them to. Okay, you better do that. I'm giving them work to do, but yeah, they might do. So anyway, cheers, thanks. That's all I've got for this one. Good solution, I think, for working from home in this crisis that we've got going on. So good alternative for VPN and RDP if you're looking for one. If not, good luck with managing remote desktop connections and VPNs. So I guess last word on all of this is there are doubts and questions around licensing in cloud solutions. I don't really want to go there. There are questions about that. Do Autodesk support having their licenses up in the cloud? Yes, they do for some. No, they don't for others. Is it something they police on a regular basis? Who knows? Yes, possibly. No, possibly. If you're a genuine customer and you're not abusing it, probably not. If you're looking to try and abuse how many licenses you've bought because you can in a virtual environment, then I'd really rather you didn't, because that's the kind of person who ruins it for the rest of us. So yeah, there are questions around that, but if you're just sensible with it and you don't abuse it, then Autodesk are usually fine with it, as are most other providers. But I'm not a legal authority on that, so that's just my opinion. Right, that's all I've got. Thanks very much. See you in the next one. Toodles.